Good morning to you, brethren. Good afternoon to you. And good evening to you from wherever you are joining us. This is Mayegun live. Thank you so much for joining me. Brethren, in the Temple of Truth tonight, we are having the continuation of the drama playing out in the Nigeria Senate between the 107 senators and AKPABIOLE versus Natasha Akpoti-Oduah. So read the caption of this broadcast, read the description of this broadcast, and if you have done that already, great. Then like the broadcast, share it, invite your friends, invite your not so friendly friends, and tell them that Mayegun is live. Equivalent of Mayegun today. So, brethren, once again, welcome to the Temple of Truth, and welcome to the latest from the the spectacle being displayed by by career criminals, because I don't know, that's what I love to call them though. Career criminals who are lawbreakers that are expected to be also lawmakers, making laws for you. So if you have been following this back and forth, breakbacks between the Senate presidios, the kleptomaniac AKPABIOLE. AKPABIOLE is accused of sexually harassing his own colleague in the Senate, abuse of power, obstruction of legislative duty of another member. In all of this, it has now come to the light that Natasha was alone. She is alone. And even though she is from the political party that was supposed to have the second kind of majority in their assembly there, I'm talking about people destroying people, PDP. But in this wahala, it's not just Natasha versus the APC goons. It is Natasha versus the House of Wolves, the House of Jackals, and she has been sacrificed this afternoon via a suspension delivered by AKPABIOLE. There is no room to investigate her allegation. They did not even give any room whatsoever to probe into our petition, our allegation, right? Check if she was even lying, right? To know, okay, she's lying, then punish her accordingly. This time it was like, how dare you? That is the word. How dare you? And that is where we are going to start this evening. So, this morning, when Natasha Akpoti-Oduah returned to the Nigerian Senate, where the sharks, the hyenas, the jackals were waiting to deliver the punching, the tequila punch. So she walked in again to represent a petition that was said to not be properly presented yesterday. And that is the petition against AKPABIOLE, the sexual harassment, obstruction of legislative duty, as well as abuse of power. Ladies and gentlemen, because of our time, because I really, really do wish that we take us this evening, okay? So let's get down to it. Straight up. So Natasha walked in this morning, faced AKPABIOLE again, and presented this.
Senate President, I have before me a petition by a Nigerian citizen and a constituent of Kogi Central under the name Suberu Azamare Yakubu. And the petition is against the President of the Nigerian Senate, Senator Godswill Akpabio, for sexual harassment, abuses of office, and malicious obstruction of legislative functions of distinguished Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan. So with your kind permission, may I please lay this petition? Because as you know, yesterday,
Is there any legal impediment?
on the subject matter, none, sir. None, sir.
Please proceed to lay the petition. Since you said there is no legal impediment.
There is none, sir. Thank you.
Don't worry, somebody.
Order is chief talking.
Don't give this person any PR. Don't.
Distinguished colleagues, Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan has a petition from her constituents, and she has also further confirmed before all senators that the matter in issue is not in any court of law. I have no reason not to take her word for it. So accordingly, the petition is referred to the Committee on Ethics, Code of Conduct, and Public Petitions to revert to the Senate in 4 weeks.
Report back. He said the petition, because yesterday, right, said Natasha presented a petition against AKPABIOLE in her name, and that is wrong. So she came back with a new one, same petition, but in the name of one of her constituents. Now, AKPABIOLE, this is the beginning of the drama. So AKPABIOLE said, as is expected, refer this petition to the Committee on Ethics and whatever. The entire compromised system, they had their foregone conclusion already. So the weighty allegations and the petition of Natasha did not receive any of the attention of the supposed committee of the committee or Senate Committee on Ethics. All right, because to them, he has sort of like, outdone herself, and she must be punished. So those who are supposed to be feminists, all those feminists that always claim that they are fighting for women, they became blind, deaf, and dumb for obvious reasons, right? But let's leave feminists. The remaining women in their their Senate, they were on the side of the men. They even condemned her for daring to make such allegations public. So Ireti she's a member of the Senate Committee on Ethics. There is another clown, that guy that I shared with us, yesterday. And then another one again, called Nadan something. Let me see if I can pick out his name from my list here. Give me a sec. So that one is the chairman, Senate Committee on Ethics. The person that was supposed to receive Natasha's petition, treat it, in his merits, and decide if a crime has been committed. Get back to the Senate, Abi. So initially, people were like, why would AKPABIOLE still be superintending the Senate when there is a petition against him? Why would he be like a judge in his own case? Anyway, so there is this, I'm trying to pick his name, not done something. Right? So he walked into the Senate this morning, the Senate chambers, as they call it, with a prepared long speech, which is to recommend the immediate suspension of Natasha, something they've been kind of like, pushing in the last few days anyway. So it's expected, isn't it? Now, I am going to kind of share that with you, their recommendation and on what basis. Let's start with this.
On Wednesday, 19 February 2025, after adjourning of the Senate session, he was informed by the Chief Whip of the Senate, Senator Mohammed Tahir Mongono, that the leadership have directed him to effect some adjustments of seats on the minority side due to movement of two senators, namely Senator Onyebuchi FE and Senator Ned Nwoko Muner, to the majority party. 2, that the Chief Whip reminded him to effect the adjustments in line with the ranking as it has been the tradition of the Senate. 3, that the readjustment affected about 10 senators, Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan inclusive, and the reallocation was approved by the Chief Whip, and some chamber staff were instructed to guide the affected senators to their new seats the following sitting day. 4, that all the senators were guided to their new seats, and they complied. But Senator Natasha was shown to her new seat, but she refused and insisted that she would not go anywhere, and removed the name tag on her old seat and sat down and shouting and all efforts by other senators to calm her proved abortive. 5, that Senator Natasha Akpoti was advised by Chief Whip to go to her new seat to enable her speak on the point of order, but she insisted on raising the point of order on her old seat, but was equally advised by the President of the Senate to move to her new seat to be recognized to speak, but she refused and was consequently ruled out of order. That she started shouting in the chamber, which was unparliamentary. All entreaties by some distinguished senators to make her remain calm fell on deaf ears, and she left the chamber on her own when the session was still in progress. The testimonies of Mukhtar Usman Dauda was corroborated by Sandra Davo, Mekawua Abari Kashi, Mercy Rashid Salmanu, and Udeme Igbidejo. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, another testimony was taken from Brigadier General Etido E. Ekpo, who is the Senate Sergeant at Arms. In his written submission, Mr. President, to the committee, Brigadier General Etido E. Ekpo testified as follows. 1, that Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan, after being sworn in as a senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, began to display unbridled and uncourt behavior amongst her distinguished colleagues, thereby creating constant conflict and disharmony. That from his investigation, Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan had openly engaged in verbal altercation with Senator Godiya Akwashiki and Senator Patrick Ndubeze, in which the President of the Senate and the entire leadership intervened in the interest of peace and harmony. And 3, that by her unethical conduct and verbal attacks, Senator Natasha Uduaghan has succeeded in creating frosty and unfriendly relationship with a number of her colleagues, both in the chamber, committees/meeting rooms, as well as the precincts of the National Assembly. The respondent, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan, despite notice to appear, neglected, refused, and opted not to show up at the committee hearing. The observations and findings of the Committee of Ethics, Privileges, and Public Petition. After careful examination, the documents available, and hearing out the matter, the committee observed as follows. 1. That Senator Natasha Uduaghan has violated Order 6, Subsection 1 and 2 of the Senate Standing Orders 2023 as amended by vehemently refusing to relocate to her newly assigned allocated seat in the Senate chamber and insisting to raise the point of order from a seat not allocated to her, thereby causing commotion and disruption in Senate proceedings, violating Order 62, Subsection 2 of the Senate Standing Orders by refusing to leave the chamber when ordered to do so by the presiding officer. 2, that her behavior on the 20th of February 2025 was unethical and unbecoming of the Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria by refusing to uphold the moral sanctity of the Senate and of the hallowed chamber. 3, that her refusal to appear that her allegations.
I have to cut that into half there so that we can manage our time, all right? Don't pretend that you don't know that this whole cock and bull story, okay, is to make it look like she's such a troublesome person. She's on call. She's, she's not relatable. And because of this, she has caused frosty, relationship among these senators. If you have been a follower of Nigeria criminal politics, I'll tell you, there have been members of this Senate who have been punished for not acting like the court like as it should be, right? So you may be PDP, you may be APC, you may be APGA, you may be YPP, you may be NNPP, you may be Labour Party. Doesn't really matter. The moment you get into that chamber, you are considered as the same. So whatever is agreed upon, not agreed upon. Whatever is directed, everyone is expected to toe the line. If you dare question it, you will see member of your own political party. Let's say you are in opposition, for example. As it should be, as democracy is really practiced, okay, where you have the ruling party, right, and then you have the opposition. The job of the opposition is to act as the checks and balances and possibly, right, expose all the corrupt criminal activities of the ruling party. To their own advantage, of course. You say them out, you are inside the place. You know what they are doing. So you can actually hold them, but not in Nigeria. In Nigeria, they are the same. They say they are the same brothers and sisters. The transistor radio senator, a former senator, the man who was sharing transistor radio, Shehu Sonny, Afro senator, he was almost suspended because he went on TV to tell the world how much each senator collects and how much he told the world how much he, as a senator, was collecting. And then he gave an idea of how much the ranking officers of the Senate are collecting. That was the genesis of how we got to know that an average senator was going on with 35 million naira. And this was in 2015, by the way. 35 million naira every month. He was almost suspended. Yeah, Saraki was the Senate president at the time. According to him, he shielded him from being suspended for 6 months. Ali Ndume from Borno, right, got suspended. If you remember, he was also suspended for about 6 months as well, simply because he questioned the padding of the budget by the lawmakers. It was supposed to just play along, not talk about it. Abdul Ningi, another person also exposed the corruption of the budget padding, was also suspended for about 3 months. I don't know if you remember that. That's the recent one.